Where are you, ma'am? Only because 2 weeks ago, and I don't have my parents alive. Calm down. What? Some people broke into our house and take the shows all his money.
The shocking story of Jennifer Pan. She was the model daughter. Straight A student. Piano prodigy. Obedient. Polite. But on one cold November night, Jennifer Pan dialed 911, sobbing, telling dispatchers that armed men had broken into her home and shot both of her parents. Only, it wasn't a random break-in. And Jennifer wasn't a victim. She was the mastermind. This is the chilling story of Jennifer Pan. Bích Ha and Huy Han Pan were Vietnamese immigrants who settled in Canada in the 1970s, after fleeing post-war Vietnam. They met in Toronto, where both found work in the auto industry, Bích at a parts manufacturer, Han as a tool and die maker at Magna International. They weren't wealthy. But through decades of hard work, they built a comfortable life in Markham, Ontario. Their children, Jennifer and Felix, were their pride. But it was Jennifer, the eldest, who bore the weight of their dreams. The Pan family, particularly Han and Bích Ha Pan, exemplified many core characteristics of tiger parenting. Tiger parenting is a strict or demanding parenting style that pushes children to attain high levels of academic achievement and success, often at the expense of emotional well-being, autonomy, and personal interests. From a young age, Jennifer was pushed to excel. Piano lessons by age 4. Figure skating by 7. Academics were non-negotiable. A B grade was a failure. A 95 was merely expected. Her parents weren't abusive, but their standards were unrelenting. To neighbors and friends, the Pans were the classic Asian success story. But behind closed doors, something darker was brewing. By high school, Jennifer's life was unraveling. Despite hours of studying and pressure, her grades slipped. She wasn't going to be valedictorian. She failed calculus in grade 12, dashing her dream of graduating. But rather than face her parents, she lied. She forged report cards, faked acceptance letters, and told them she was attending Ryerson University, then later the University of Toronto, all while hanging out at cafes and sleeping at her boyfriend's house. Jennifer had spun an entire double life. But lies can only hold so long. Jennifer met Daniel Wong in high school. Unlike her, Daniel was easygoing, popular, and came from a more relaxed household. He was also involved in drug dealing. Jennifer's parents disapproved and demanded she stop seeing him. She pretended to comply, but secretly, their bond deepened. When her web of lies collapsed in 2010, her father was furious. He confiscated her phone, banned her from seeing Daniel, and kept her under virtual house arrest. To Jennifer, it felt like prison. And so she began fantasizing, not about running away, but something much darker. In the spring of 2010, Jennifer reconnected with Daniel Wong. She proposed something chilling. If her parents were gone, they could finally be together. No more hiding. No more rules. Just freedom. Through Daniel, Jennifer was introduced to Lenford Crawford, a petty criminal known as Homeboy. The plan was simple. Jennifer would leave the door unlocked. 3 men would enter. Her parents would be killed. Jennifer would play the victim. She promised them $10,000 from an inheritance. A date was set, November 8, 2010.
Jennifer.
Someone just broke in?
Someone broke in and I heard shots like pops. I don't know what's happening. I'm tied upstairs.
Did it sound like gunshots?
I don't know what a gunshot sounds like. I just heard a pop.
Around 10 p.m., 3 armed men entered the Pan home. They found Jennifer's mother and father watching TV. Jennifer was upstairs, her brother was not at home. Her parents, Han and Bích Ha Pan, were brought down to the basement, tied up, and shot. Bích was shot in the head, killed instantly. Han was shot twice, once in the face and once in the shoulder. But miraculously, he survived. Despite his injuries, Han regained consciousness after the shooters had fled. In a state of confusion and pain, bleeding heavily, and likely in shock, he managed to free himself from his bindings and stumble up the basement stairs. Instead of going to check on Jennifer, who was supposedly tied up in her room upstairs, Han immediately ran to the front door, opened it, and collapsed on the front lawn, screaming for help. A neighbor heard the screams and called 911. He was brought to hospital, but due to severe injuries he went into a coma. While some onlookers questioned why a father wouldn't run to his daughter, investigators and psychologists saw his decision as instinctive, strategic, and revealing. Jennifer had tied herself thinking her parents are dead. She called 911 after the men fled. To police, it looked like a random home invasion. But something didn't add up. The house wasn't ransacked. Nothing was stolen. And Jennifer had been left unharmed. As detectives dug deeper, inconsistencies began to surface. Jennifer's account changed. Her behavior was strange, too calm, too rehearsed.
Just explain to you is you're here voluntarily to help us, that you don't have to talk to us if you don't want to, but the importance of talking to us, and if you're talking to us, the importance of telling the truth. And if you don't tell the truth, there's criminal consequences for not telling the truth. That's all that stuff had to deal with. Okay?
I'm a commissioner of Superior Regional Police. I'm usually to give a truthful statement either by solemn affirmation or swearing on the Bible. Which do you prefer? Swearing on the Bible? And on the Bible. Do you, Jennifer Pan, swear that the evidence you shall give on this investigation shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God? I do.
Now I want you to sort of take yourself back to earlier on today, yesterday, meaning the 8th of November, and tell me about your day. Okay, start at any point in time, wherever you feel comfortable, and then we're gonna move forward. Okay. Yesterday, probably around 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30. My mother, she woke me up and she told me that she was going to visit my grandfather. And then suddenly I just heard my mom calling for my dad to come down, and that's when I lowered the volume on my TV, and I could hear the voices. Weren't any voices I was very familiar with, and so I was scared and I couldn't move. I just sat in my room for a while. And then I thought I heard them all leave the top floor, and I peered out of my bedroom door. And the guy was there, and he came at me and had string in his hands and tied my arms back and said, "If I'm going behind your back, do what I say. If you do what I say, then no one will get hurt. Where is the money? Show me where your money is." My mom kept trying to get up, and they kept telling her to sit down. And so I didn't want her to get hurt. So I told her to sit down. They were trying to find her wallet, but her English thinker, so she gets saved first. They kept pushing her down onto the chair. Okay. Take your time. Take your time. All this is very important, so take your time.
They kept all the lights off on the main flat. The only time it was late was when they opened the fridge door to see if they could find one of my mom's purse. One of the gentlemen asked my father if he had money in his wallet and where his wallet was. So they took me, because I was next to the stairwell, they took me up the stairs to show them where my father's wallet was. But I didn't know. They had turned the room upside down. I didn't know where his pants were at that time. The next thing I know, I think I hear my parents going down the stairs, and my mom was asking them for me to come with them. They wouldn't let me come with them. And after this, the last thing that they'll say was, you lied to us. You lied to us. And then I heard two pops. When Wall Street, I yelled out for him, and a couple more popped. Wall Street.
Then came the biggest breakthrough. Her father, Han Pan, woke up from his coma and told police everything. Jennifer was speaking with the attackers before they shot him. The entire narrative crumbled. On November 22, 2010, just 2 weeks after the attack, Jennifer Pan was arrested. Not for murder, yet. But for conspiracy to commit murder. Over months of investigation, police obtained text messages, call logs, and interviews linking Jennifer, Daniel, and the hired men. In total, 5 people were charged. Jennifer Pan, Daniel Wong, Lenford Crawford, David Milvaganam, Eric Carty. The charges: first-degree murder of Bitch Hop Han, attempted murder of Han Pan. The trial began in March 2014. It lasted 10 months. The prosecution presented over 200 witnesses. Jennifer took the stand in her own defense, claiming she had only hired the men to scare her father, not kill anyone. But the jury didn't believe her. On December 13, 2014, Jennifer Pan was found guilty of first-degree murder, attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder. She was sentenced to life in prison with no parole for 25 years. Daniel Wong and the other accomplices received similar sentences. Jennifer's father, Han Pan, survived, but was permanently disabled. In a victim impact statement, he wrote, "I lost my wife, my daughter, and my life. When I lost my wife, I lost my daughter at the same time. I hope my daughter thinks about what happened to her family, and can become a good, honest person one day." To this day, Jennifer Pan sits in a Canadian prison. Her parole eligibility begins in 2039, when she will be 53 years old. She never saw freedom as a child. But the cost of trying to escape was a life sentence. Jennifer Pan's story is not just about crime. It's about pressure, deception,